we are going to sell this sawmill. Hey, welcome back to the channel. We are out at the sawmill today. This is the OS23 sawmill. You've probably not seen it in a while because we've been using the OS18 on the other side of the property. So there's two things in this video we're going to cover. We're going to cover why we're selling the OS23, and we're also going to do some red oak, cut it up into board and batten strips. We're going to use on the cabin, we're putting the outside, it's going to be all board and batten. And then we're going to use like a gray Thompson's water seal stain to spray on the wood and make that be our our protection for the wood. Red oak is not great for long term if you don't protect it. If you protect it, you put a Thompson's water seal on it, it'll last for years and years and years. So let's talk about the log size here. This is a red oak and it is kind of egg shaped. It's about 14 inches in one direction and about 12 and a half in the other. On this end, again, the egg shape holds true all the way through the log. It's 12 inches on this end and about 10 inches on this end. So we're going to have to stack some wood up under this end to kind of not waste as much wood. This log looks to be about, I'm going to guess it's roughly 8 foot, a little over 8 foot. Yep, just a little over 8 foot long. So some of the boards that we're going to need is obviously going to be 8 foot. We're going to have some, I got some logs that are like 7 foot long. And we're going to cut those up in board and batten as well over the next few days. And under the windows and over the sliding glass doors, there's going to be short pieces that we need. So we're going to need it all. So we've got a lot of red oak to cut up, and let's go ahead and get to that. But first off, let's talk about the sawmill and why we are getting rid of the OS23. Now this OS23, we have upgraded it. It has a 14 horsepower motor on it. It screens through logs that'll fit on it. However, when we bought this, I really didn't understand, first off, how much I was going to get into the sawmill, and second off, how big the trees that we were going to get. I thought we were going to be well under the 23-inch tree. Turns out that we have been given trees. We've had people in our area like, hey, if you'll just come cut down these 4 or 5 trees, then you can have these trees. And so we've got many cases where we've got a lot bigger log. So we are going to upgrade our sawmill. I think it's going to make us more productive as well. So that's coming out in a video probably in October. We'll probably show our new sawmill. But right now, I don't have the new sawmill set up, and we need to get this done. This sawmill will cut a 17-inch or 17-foot long tree. It'll cut a 23-inch round log. It'll cut a 20-inch wide board. So that's this sawmill. This log here is perfectly sized for this sawmill. All right, what I'm doing now is just putting my backstops in so we can set the log up here and not have it roll off the back. I'm going to go ahead and put that board under this end so that it'll be roughly the same height on both ends. I've got a piece of board I've been using for forever here. There's about 2 inches of difference from end to end, and that board is just about probably right at 2 inches. I'm not really sure why I didn't put that in the middle. I know better. So this is our lightweight precision manufacturing grapple, and I really like it, especially for cleaning up. It's really precise because you can pinch things because of the way these line up. However, in this particular case, I like the new precision. This is the 322, and then the 327, which is made for a bigger tractor. It comes out, and then it actually comes out just a little bit more, probably about this much, which makes it very useful for offloading boards on it. Where this one, I have to kind of hold it up high and set boards on it. It's really not good to set boards on it. It's just not what it's meant for. But we still do it. All right, let me set these back stops down. Looking at this log, it seems like it has a little bit of a twist in it. So that the egg shape, it's egg shaped on both ends, but the egg shape lays flat on this end and it's canted up a little bit on this end. So I don't know how that's going to play into the whole cut. We'll figure it out. I would guess this log is probably about 700 or 800 pounds. This is really manageable, manageable size log. Now, when you get up into the 23-inch logs, especially when they're like 12 or 16 foot long, they're hard to work with, and that's when I'll really start using the grapple a lot now. So the more stable you can make your log, the better the cut. But the reality of this is a rough cut sawmill, and you're not going to turn off plain type lumber. I get a lot of people that will get a new sawmill like this, and they're like, well, the wood is just not very smooth. Well, it's a rough cut sawmill. It's not supposed to be smooth. So if you're getting one of these sawmills, now granted, I think in a lot of cases they do cut smoother than say some types of sawmills, but especially like a chainsaw sawmill, but it still will have to be planed if you want it to be perfectly smooth. All right, it looks pretty well set up. This one's egg shape is a little bit this way. That one's egg shape's flat. So I think we'll be able to establish some boards out of this. Maybe I'm going to do a plain cut through this, which I'm just going to go down through. I'm going to cut my cant, and then I'm going to we're going to do 6-inch boards and then 4-inch batten boards. So that'll be it'll be offset like that. It's a pretty nice log right here. That's a nice red wood grain. Beautiful. So I'm running a Turbo 7-degree blade on here, and we were talking earlier about how, you know, how this is a rough cut sawmill, and you can still see the marks, but it is so smooth compared to running a 10-degree. If you have the horsepower, you can run a lower degree blade, and then that actually can make quite a bit smoother. So that is a brand new blade. It's the first cut it's ever made. You can see that is just absolutely so smooth, and it just went through the log like butter. I mean, this is red oak. It's a hardwood, and with 14 horsepower and that 7-degree blade, it just didn't care. All I have is my old cant hook. My good one is at the other side, so I'll have to rough it. That was terrible. Maybe not as hard as I thought it was going to be. This is a very manageable log though. Some of the big ones can get ornery. Let that sit there. I'll come back around on the other side and tighten that up. It wants to roll back on me. Instead of just hold the thing up. It's no weight to it at all. But I can't tighten the log dogs up and hold that at the same time. I like the new log dogs on the OS23. Yeah, it's good. This is the old screw type, and it works, but the new log dogs on the OS18 are really neat. Okay, I think we're ready for our next cut. Well, I thought I got past the mark, but I guess I need to come down another inch. So that's at least I can get a couple of batten strips out of that, or maybe at least one batten strip. Probably two. So we'll keep that. I guess I wasted a little bit, but you know, some logs you just can't help it. Still beautiful lumber. Look at Well, you can't really see the grain, but I'm gonna bring it down to 6 inches. So it'll be a 6-inch cant. I can just flip it up and go through and take all my 6-inch boards. That last one was a little thin, but it's okay. Look at the grain on that. It's gonna look pretty on the side of the house. So you're gonna go with gray or black?
Gray. I'm not real sure yet.
She says she's not real sure yet. I don't know if you can hear her. She's over behind the camera. All right, so I'm gonna go pull some of the pieces off that have some wane on them, and we're going to see if we can make some battens out of those. Figure out how to do this without making a big mess. Really ain't no way to do it other than just do it. The good thing about board and batten is it doesn't really, you know, I got that one that's like maybe 7/8 thick versus 1 inch. You know, it's not precision. It's just, it looks good. We'll keep that one. This one can be a batten. The boards on a board and batten needs to be pretty much the same width, but your batten strips can have quite a bit of variation. It just doesn't really matter. And these little 2 strips right here, this is going to be for whatever you want to use them for. So that little log is going to yield six good batten boards, and then probably 4 or 5, excuse me, 6 good boards, and then probably 4 or 5 batten strips, just out of that one little bitty log. And it was pretty defective. It had different curves and twists in the log, so it really wasn't even that great of a log. Solid though. Another thing with these is that because this is, you know, some of this has knot holes in it, so it might not be as structurally sound as some things, but this is siding, so there's no structural to it. Okay, we're going to call it quits right here. We are going to sell this sawmill. We are upsizing to a much bigger sawmill. I hope you guys will stay with us. It's going to be fun. We need the bigger sawmill. We've got a lot of big logs cut right now that we can't use on this sawmill. Thank you for watching our videos. God bless.